There's just a couple more pages of Streptococcus, which I'd forgotten about. Underlying anger and violence, violent dreams, repressed rage, PANDAS association, picking at the skin or the hair or the eyebrows, compulsive behaviours, delusion hears cries for help. Post-infection, never been well since strep throat. Sepsis history. So you can see, I mean, theoretically, it's got quite a wide range of use and could be very useful. I thought somebody was going to ask me about Streptococcus tilch, but nobody has so far. I have nothing to say about it because I don't really know it, so I don't know what the difference is. I imagine it's probably similar, I'd imagine, but I don't know. Scarlet fever history, rheumatic pains.
So on the slide before, you said something like similar to lap canine or similar to the net remedies or something. So I think it was about maybe it's the slide before, maybe about the OCD, I can't remember. So do you find them to be quite similar? Or?
Streptococcus with milks?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. It's more, I think, related to the ferns or the apiales, I'd say, because there's a lot of OCD, which you wouldn't normally find in the milks particularly. It's basically nervous system dysregulation, would be the technical name, I guess. So now, I don't know whether I should, do I say something?
You can.
So this is, Miriam has kindly allowed me to, and her daughter has kindly allowed me to present this case of her daughter. I hope you can obviously stop me if you feel there's anything inaccurate or if I've elaborated too much or whatever. But so she was born at 36 weeks. She's officially diagnosed with Down syndrome. So she was 4 weeks early. She is pretty dependent on her mum. She presents as, or she did present as quite childlike, quite small in stature. She attended a school and college. She studied performing arts, cooking, hair and beauty, working in hair. And so, as you can see, like with Down syndrome, and I think she's had quite a lot of homeopathy in the past from another, yeah. But there's a good variation with Down syndrome, I think, isn't there? With some are highly advanced and others not so much. She can hear the word but can't say it. She used keywords and family helps fill in the gaps. She has a stammer, which is worse under pressure. She lives in her own little bubble and can feel overwhelmed quickly. She has difficulty responding when asked questions and it's like an anxiety about what others think, a very sort of stage 2 thing in the periodic table, you could say. She may freeze with negative attention. She interacts at times. What's that? Interacts at times with imaginary people. Is that people that in dreams or in her head?
She would just talk to somebody we don't know.
Okay, all right. She has an hearing impediment. Strong performance anxiety. One of the so what struck me with her, can I say her name or yeah? With Layla, was one, she had dreams of kind of performing on stage, and yet she was quite in her own little bubble, And also at the time when I first started treating her, she'd retired, she wasn't seeing any friends, she didn't want to see friends. She had a sort of, just, was somehow, I can't remember whether that was traumatized or whether she just, and remember she's 36 years old. She's sort of easily overwhelmed by things, very shy and sensitive to attention. But she enjoys music, dancing. It's almost like there's a wanting to kind of communicate and to perform, but yet being stuck in a sort of retiring stage. Enjoys salsa and cha-cha. These are the remedies I gave her to start with, which really didn't do much. So I started with neon. Neon is one of the neurodivergent remedies, really, in the noble gases, stage 18. And then I gave a cerium carb, which is, cerium is very much, again, in their own little bubble. That's the way they often describe it. And then I gave her a fern, a solar folliculoides, did nothing. And then, that's the remedy I gave her. Yeah. And again, it's one of those remedies you sort of think it's probably got a keynote or two, about boring in their nose, or they pick their nose, or they have chapped lips and raw mouth, and there's a few things like that. But what do we know really about this essence? We don't know anything. So, and the numbers, you again look at the numbers. The reason, so what I did was I looked at 632 because I thought there's a 6, you can ignore the 6. The 3 is like she wants to communicate. She wants to be sort of with people, and she's trying to communicate. She can't get the word, but she can't get it out. So there was a needing to communicate and to be part of the family and have friends, but she couldn't, but she was stuck in a childishness, and she couldn't really, that gap had not been bridged. Does that sound accurate? Yeah. And then the 1-1, you can see that was a very naive, very elementary, sort of right at the beginning, I also did think about, whether at 36, whether she wanted to have a relationship with the guy or something, or whether there was some need there to express, maybe that she couldn't formulate even, but that she wanted to, no, not really.
Last time, 3 years ago, somebody asked me,
Yeah.
my boyfriend. Her answer was, what for?
Right, yeah. Yeah, well that,
we hadn't asked her
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I thought it was quite
And then stage 4 is very much, again, bubble, in your own little bubble. And it seems that this group of remedies, this group of plants, are really useful in autism cases and these kind of, late development, delayed development cases. Okay, this is a little bit of a picture. Difficulty combining being oneself with communication and connection. Early lack of emotional safety, feels vulnerable and unprotected in the world. Felt expected to cope before being ready. Difficulty learning how to communicate, relate, expressing feelings appropriately. Communication may appear awkward, rough, poorly modulated or inhibited. May retreat into their private inner world. Feels exposed in contact, social uncertainty or withdrawal.
Can I just ask something? Sometimes in psychological profiles they'll say something like this child has, what's the word, when they can't say what they feel, or whether they something, so they had that with the teacher or other people. Is that what you mean with the communication? I can't think of the term now. It's like it's not oppositional disorder, it's something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Is that the sort of, they can't say what they feel to other people?
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, that's, Layla was like this. Yeah, she can't, she has the words, she can feel it or she can imagine it in her mind, but she can't get the words out.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's very emotional, she can't.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a-
not a language of emotion.
interestingly, it has a lot of sexual things. You can see there's a kind of rather phallic sort of thing in the middle of the plant, and there is a sort of sexual insecurity and that sort of thing as well. It's sort of communicating in that way is, or they feel a bit rough around it. They're a bit blunt, a bit Asperger's-y, I suppose you would say. You know, like on the spectrum type of. Difficulty integrating instinct with emotional connection, feelings of shame or awkwardness around closeness, may feel inexperienced, rejected or misunderstood, strong sympathy for vulnerable or